Sometimes I want to create soundscape elements on the fly, or maybe I'm doing this as part of a clock-synced live performance, or maybe I'm just using external hardware in real time. In any of these cases, I want the timing of my performance to be spot on. And if the end result is going to be an audio recording of my performance, I can't go back in and quantize MIDI notes to the grid like I could with a recorded sequence. So this is where the real-time quantizer preset in the scripter comes in really handy. So the way this works is you set a quantization value. So I'll set this to a half note for each of these. So what this means is when I play in a note on my MIDI controller, the note won't come in until the next half note on the grid. So playback has to be running in order for this to work. I'm using two of these because I'm actually sending my MIDI data to a track stack that has two different instruments on it. Track stacks cannot have MIDI effects loaded to them, so I have two different scripter plugins loaded on each of the instruments in the stack. I've also got the keyboard pulled up so you can see when I play notes versus when they actually sound. So every note I'm playing is being delayed until the next half note. Now in live performance, you might want to be able to hear a metronome so you can stay in time. The problem is you don't necessarily want the audience to be able to hear the click. You just want to hear it in your headphones. So you can actually change the output of the metronome just by right-clicking on the metronome, going to metronome settings, and then setting the output to a different output on your audio interface. So this way you can just hear the click in your headphones, but the rest of the audience and the recording is not going to pick it up. The real-time quantizer is also really helpful for keeping clock-synced effects perfectly on the grid. So if I use the note repeater, for example, to create an echoed note, maybe up an octave, so I'll set the transpose to 12 semitones, then I'll just delay this by an eighth note. When I'm not in playback, it sounds fine, but if I were to perform this without the real-time quantizers on, I might come in a little early, I might come in a little bit late, which is going to make the note repeater sound a little early or late as well. This is also helpful for performing with arpeggiators live as well, because the arpeggiator is also a clock-synced effect. With this, I can jump in on the chords a little bit early and then ensure that the arpeggiator plays perfectly in sync with the tempo of the project. And this also helps with some audio effects as well. My stereo delay on my piano track is a clock-synced effect as well. So I hope you've enjoyed these tips and tricks videos on using these scripter presets. I find them extremely valuable for electronic music production, and I use them all the time.